Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. The country of Haiti announced they are in a state of emergency as of Sunday after thousands of inmates escaped from two large prisons. The country's capital of Port-au-Prince has been gripped by a wave of highly coordinated gang attacks on law enforcement and state institutions. Armed groups have burned down police stations and released thousands of inmates from two prisons. Haiti's Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, was abroad when the violence sparked and wasn't able to return as gangs seized the country's airport to stop him from returning. Finally, on Tuesday, it was announced that the Haitian Prime Minister landed in Puerto Rico after days of speculation. The gang leader behind the violence, Jimmy Barbecue Cherizer, warned there will be a civil war if Henry does not step down. Thousands of Haitians have had to flee, and so far about 15,000 are displaced from their homes. On Monday, the Supreme Court ruled unanimously that states do not have the authority to keep a candidate off the ballot on the grounds that they are engaged in rebellion or insurrection against the U.S. This decision restored Donald Trump's name to Colorado's ballot and ended similar challenges to his candidacy in other states. This puts to end a number of state-level claims that Trump isn't eligible to be president for a second time under a constitutional provision barring former officials who engaged in insurrection or rebellion from holding office again. The Constitution makes Congress, rather than the states, responsible for enforcing Section 3 against federal office holders and candidates, the court said, referring to the disqualification provision, which is part of the 14th Amendment. The court said allowing state-by-state determinations of a presidential candidate's eligibility could lead to a chaotic patchwork of outcomes that could disrupt a national election. The Alabama House of Representatives and Senate have passed legislation that will restore access to in vitro fertilization after the state's Supreme Court ruled that embryos were children and that destroying them could result in criminal charges. The vote on Thursday was 94-6, with 3 abstaining in the House. It was unanimous in the Senate. Kay Ivey, the governor of Alabama, is expected to sign the bill into law. Within days of the court's ruling, half of Alabama's IVF clinics paused treatments for fear that they might face wrongful death lawsuits for discarding unused embryos, which is routine in IVF. If enacted, this new law will provide civil and criminal immunity for death or damage to an embryo as part of IVF services. If a lawmaker were to introduce an amendment, the timeline could be delayed, but at this point, none are expected. According to a new PSA, the city of Miami is officially breaking up with spring break. After 3 consecutive years of spring break violence, Miami Beach officials are implementing month-long security measures aimed at curbing the chaos, including parking restrictions for non-residents and closing sidewalk cafes on busy weekends. The city has warned visitors to expect curfews, bag searches at the beach, early beach closures, DUI checkpoints, and arrests for drug possession and violence. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced on Tuesday that 45 state law enforcement officers are also being deployed to the city to bolster the police presence. Many of the city's restrictions aren't new, but in past years they were instituted as emergency measures during the unofficial holiday, not measures put into place ahead of time. DeSantis said at a Miami Beach news conference that Florida is going to crack down on anyone who violates the law during spring break. In a welcomed announcement, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration said last week that certain kind of grease-proofing forever chemicals called PFAS will no longer be used in food packaging in the U.S. The FDA's food studies have shown that food packaging materials like fast food wrappers, microwave popcorn bags, and takeout pizza boxes were a major source of dietary exposure to certain types of PFAS, hormone-disrupting chemicals that may persist in the body and the environment. PFAS has been linked to a variety of health effects, including changes in the immune and liver function. obesity, diabetes, certain cancers, and low birth weights. The FDA estimates that it may take another 18 months after this phase out to exhaust stocks of products containing these food contact substances. Thanks for watching Braintree today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Meet James. He was surprised to find out that he has elevated blood pressure, which could turn into high blood pressure. So he talked with his doctor about a healthy path to get his numbers down. He quit smoking, which makes a big difference for his overall heart health. He also cut down on salt by watching out for high sodium on food labels and added a 30-minute walk 5 days a week to his routine. These healthy steps weren't easy, but lowering his blood pressure was worth it. Learn more about his healthy path.
Welcome back. During the Town Council's meeting this week, Michael Esmond was introduced as Braintree's new finance director. Last month, Edward Spellman retired from being the town's finance director for the last 16 years, leaving the spot open for a newcomer. Also during the meeting, Mayor Joyce reintroduced Carolyn Murray and Brian Mazur from KP Law to take over as the town's new solicitor. The town solicitor spot was previously held by Nicole Taub, who departed for another opportunity, and was taken over by Crystal Huff. Here's more from the meeting.
I am before you tonight to proudly offer my recommendation for appointment of Mr. Michael Esmond as our new Director of Municipal Finance. He will be taking over for our former Finance Director, Ed Spellman, who retired a couple of weeks ago. Mr. Esmond has a very long professional background and resume that I believe is going to be very beneficial to the town of Braintree. He absolutely understands the challenges that lie ahead. He is ready to get to work on behalf of the town. He is a Braintree resident and actually is a Braintree schools parent with children in our school district. So I believe he will be experiencing a lot of the decisions that we're going to be faced with making firsthand and in his own life as a resident of Braintree. So
yeah, just very quickly, I am a resident of Braintree. I've been living in Braintree for about 3.5 years. Almost all of my career service has been in the public sector at the state level primarily, also having had a chance to work as a consultant in consulting federal, state, and local clients as well. So it's been a really great pleasure to talk and sit with the mayor and her team for the interview, and I view this opportunity to make a difference in my town, but also to get right to work on a number of the key issues that the town faces, the mayor faces, and the town council face, in the year ahead, as well as to work to make some long-term improvements for the town's the long-term town financial planning and being a part of that.
I'm pleased to be before you this evening with an appointment request for KP Law as our town solicitor. We had, in the previous administration, had an in-house solicitor. KP Law does have a lot of familiarity in the town of Braintree and does have a very accessible, broad range of municipal law services that I think are going to benefit the town of Braintree as we, move forward with some of the caseload that we have and just making sure that we're able to cover all of our different needs on the town solicitor side.
Thank you, members of the council, and to Mayor Joyce for that those kind remarks. It's very, as I said upstairs with the Ways and Means, it's very nice to see mostly all of you again. Councilor Quilty, it's nice to meet you, and I look forward to working with you. And yes, we didn't get to ask a lot of questions upstairs, so Brian and I are here fair game, so we'll answer anything you'd like to know. So typically we bill on an hourly basis, and usually we try to adjust our rates to coincide with the town's fiscal year so that you can plan to know how much something's going to cost, more or less, as you're preparing your budgets. We have served a special, we have a couple of different tiers. So when we are town council or town solicitor, we typically charge a lower rate than when we've been special counsel. So for example, we've been special counsel for the town, handling a couple of ongoing matters of litigation over the last 10 years. That actually was at $275 an hour. because of hopefully the approval of this appointment tonight, and for a longer period of time, we've reduced that hourly rate to $255 an hour.
While pickleball may be taking over Braintree, the noise coming from the courts is starting to cause a commotion. Last week, the town council approved over $22,000 in Community Preservation Act funds to install acoustic panels that partially enclose the outdoor pickleball courts at Hollis Field. Doing extensive research on the panels, Jan Barras of the Braintree Pickleball Association said the 2-layer panels should reduce noise from the courts by at least 10 decibels. Here's more from Melissa Santucci-Rozzi and Jan Barras on the project.
Good evening, and thank you again. Tonight I am here with Jan Barras and her pickleball people, her committee, and it looks like some supporters and players as well. We had worked with Jan in the first initial redoing of the courts a couple years ago. They've been playing on them quite a bit, and they have recently encountered some concerns about noise in the neighborhood. Jan, if it's okay, Mr. Chairman, if she comes up and just kind of starts to give some information as well.
Sure.
Has done quite a bit of homework and researched quite a bit of companies, and has some materials that she would like to share with the group this evening.
Okay.
Good evening. Thank you
evening.
for spending the time to speak with us. We started working on this back in probably August, myself and Janice Walsh, another one of the committee members, looking to get quotes for sound panels. We worked for about 3 or 4 months, got the sound panels. We have 3 recommendations, which I believe is in your package. We went with VibraScience for a couple of reasons. They're local. They're compared to the other companies are all in Florida or Minnesota, and VibraScience is in Connecticut. Their rep came up several times, actually measured our courts, made the recommendations of what we should use, and we selected their BBC panel.
Bless you.
We selected their panels that are made by a company called Sound Seal in Agawam.
The Norfolk County Sheriff's Office is partnering up with the American Red Cross of Massachusetts for a community blood drive. On March 8th from noon to 5 p.m., residents can join the blood drive taking place at the Foster Veterans Center in Braintree, located at 30 Foster Road. Scheduling an appointment is required, so for those interested, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org and enter Norfolk County to schedule. As Easter is approaching, the South Shore Plaza brought back a friendly critter to celebrate the season. The Easter Bunny is now at the mall through March 30th. The Bunny photo experience will be open Monday through Sunday, and reservations are strongly encouraged. South Shore Plaza will also host events with the Bunny this season, including Caring Bunny, which is a private event for children with special needs and their families. Then there's Pet Photo Day, where you can bring your furry friend to pose with the bunny. And last, Baby's First Easter, which is a private photo event exclusively for your little ones to have their first picture taken with the bunny. For more information or to make a reservation, head to whereisbunny.com. The Braintree Parks and Recreation Department is still selling tickets for a field trip to see the Boston Celtics play the Detroit Pistons at TD Garden. The event on March 18th is available to residents of all ages, and seats will be located in the top shelf bar seating area. The trip will include round-trip transportation to and from the Garden, and buses will depart from Town Hall at 5:30 p.m. Tickets are $90, and you can buy them now on the Parks and Rec website at braintreema.myrec.com. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area.
It's that time of the year again, flu season. Getting vaccinated against the flu and COVID-19 can help keep you, your family, and your community healthy. You can even get both vaccines at the same time. Visit mass.gov/flu-shot to learn more.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's get right into more stories. Last week, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey introduced the Municipal Empowerment Act, which hopes to give cities and towns the ability to raise certain taxes. The bill would affect taxes for drivers, dining out, and on hotels. On top of the state's meals tax, municipalities would have the option to add an extra 0.25% to their local fees up to a maximum of 1%. The plan would allow cities and towns to raise the lodging tax from 6 to 7%, and for drivers, the excise tax could increase by 5%. Currently, there are no plans for any similar tax increases in Braintree. On Wednesday night, a man from Boston died after being shot outside of his friend's apartment in Randolph. Police were called at midnight, notifying them of gunshots heard in the vicinity of Highland Glen Drive and the Castle Village condominiums. Responding officers found a pickup truck with evidence of bullet holes. 32-year-old DeAndre Jones was found inside the truck suffering from obvious injuries. He was taken to the Good Samaritan Hospital where he was pronounced dead. There have been no arrests and the investigation is still ongoing. The owner and chef of a Quincy, Hong Kong-style cafe can officially add champion to his resume after winning the Food Network's popular cooking competition, Chopped. Lawrence Louis, chef and owner of Robato, competed in Tuesday's episode of Chopped, which is titled A Taste of China. Ahead of his victory, he likes to push the boundaries on traditional Chinese food. Louis opened his 1,000-square-foot cafe in August 2022 in the former Contempo Bakery on Hancock Street, which his mother ran for 22 years. The local chef took home $10,000 for his victory. With the days getting longer, soon to follow are the welcoming signs of spring. Until then, about 2 weeks of winter remain, but it might be smooth sailing for the South Shore as the forecast calls for more milder than normal weather. The mean average temperature for January recorded at the Blue Hills Observatory in Milton was 30.1 degrees, colder than 2023, but about 6 degrees warmer than 2022. Meteorological winter, which is based on the yearly temperature cycle, ended on February 29th, while astronomical winter, which is based on where the Earth is in relation to the Sun, will end with the first day of spring on March 19th this year. March is Women's History Month, and there's no better place in the country for women than Massachusetts, according to a recent ranking. A study from the personal finance website Wallet Hub put Massachusetts above all others in its report on the best and worst states for women in 2024. It revealed that Massachusetts is the best state for women based on a multitude of factors such as life expectancy at birth, median earnings for female workers, and good or better health. According to the study, the top strengths in Massachusetts were friendliness towards working moms and a low unemployment rate for women. Massachusetts was first in the subcategory of women's health care and safety, and 7th for economic and social well-being. The Bay State has the lowest rate of uninsured women, the 2nd lowest female homicide rate, and the 3rd highest life expectancy rate at birth for women. Rounding out the top 5 states were Washington, D.C., Minnesota, Vermont, and Maine. The 5 worst states for women, according to the report, are Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more in entertainment.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, a retired captain from the Quincy Fire Department and the author of the book Fighting Fire, A Proactive Approach. Let's talk portable electric space heater safety. These heaters must not be left unattended. Place them on a stable base 3 feet from combustibles. Their use is not recommended within a bedroom, but if you must do so, place a smoke detector on the ceiling within the bedroom. Plug a portable space heater directly into the outlet, avoiding extension cords. Thus, do not use lamp cords or power strips for this purpose. Are portable, unvented propane and oil-filled heating appliances safe to use within a residence? No. Massachusetts prohibits their use. These heaters produce asphyxiant gases. These gases can render an occupant incapacitated or dead. Please consider your safety during these upcoming colder months.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. This week in entertainment, we have 3 movie recommendations for you to watch. First, Madam Web follows Cassandra Webb, a New York City paramedic who starts to show signs of clairvoyance. Forced to confront revelations about her past, she must protect 3 young women from a mysterious enemy who wants them dead. The film stars Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney. You can watch Madam Web now in theaters. Next, Bob Marley One Love tells the real-life story of how reggae icon Bob Marley overcame adversity and the journey behind his revolutionary music. The film stars Kingsley Ben-Adir and Lashana Lynch. You can watch Bob Marley One Love now in theaters. Finally, Ordinary Angels follows a struggling hairdresser who finds a renewed sense of purpose when she meets a widowed father working hard to care for his 2 daughters. With his youngest critically ill and waiting for a liver transplant, the fierce woman single-handedly rallies an entire community to help. The film stars Hilary Swank and Alan Richson. You can watch Ordinary Angels now in theaters. That'll do it for news today. Remember, if you're a customer of Verizon, you can watch BCAM TV in high definition on channel 2128. I'm Martha Konstandinidis, and thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll see you next time.